Hey everyone, I am going to do a reading from Manda Mellett's Ink's Devil, Satan's Devils, MC, Colorado chapter, book 5. Chapter 1, Ink. So, Pyro's married. Got the ball and chain well and truly attached now. Lizard, my MC brother and manager of the Satan's Devils tattoo parlor, chuckles, raising what must be his sixth beer of the night, as if in salute. Yeah, how about that? Mace, our enforcer, replies, his brow furrowing. It was obvious what he thought about her from the start, but he had to stay clear as Skull, God damn his soul, had claimed her. His face twists and then relaxes into an approximation of a smile. But never believed Roe would end up married. Kid coming along too, I say, pressing my lips together. He seems fucking happy about it. Me? Nah. I prefer being single. I glance around the posh banqueting hall where the wedding reception is being held. Breezy, Titsy, Sheila, Tulia, and Bella, our sweet buds, have all been invited and seem to scrub up well. Today, they're wearing clothes more suitable to the occasion rather than the barely nothing that's their usual attire. My cock twitches as I wonder which I'll go with tonight. One, that's for certain. Maybe two if I get my chance. I'll have to get in quick though. Weddings make everyone horny and they'll be in high demand. Club girls know the score and exactly what they are there for, which is to satisfy the members in any way they want their appetites met. No courtship necessary or even foreplay if you're not in the mood. But usually I am, ensuring both partners have fun and get off. I don't need a woman to be faithful to me, nor me to them. Stick with one woman like Pyro? Nah. Though, if the proud beam on his face is anything to go by, it seems to suit my brother well enough. Mace stares down into his bottle of beer, then glances up and gives me a nudge. Well, will you take a look at that? Mel's coming over. That bitch with her looks hot. She looks fucking huge. My eyes widen as I watch what must be the tallest woman I've ever seen crossing the room. Mel is looking like a little kid at her side. As my eyes soak her in, I notice her hair is bright blue, matching the shade of the bridesmaid's dress she's wearing. Definitely not a sign suggesting she is shy. Lizard has overheard Mace's comment and leans in, uttering confidentially, I could definitely do her. Then louder he calls out, Hey Mel, are you going to introduce us? He doesn't try to hide the leer in his eyes as his gaze takes in her friend, a process that uses more than a moment as there's a lot of her to observe. Liz is right to take his time. Christ, that woman's nearly as tall as I am and I'm 6'6". Mel's smiling, which is nothing new. She's not stopped beaming since Pyro slid his ring on her finger a few hours ago. Sorry, Liz, she says bluntly. It's not you she's interested in. May straightens beside me. Or you, she chuckles. In a mock show of hurt, he places his hand over his heart. There are only 3 of us propping up this part of the bar. I raise my eyebrow. Yeah, Ink, it's you. Ink, this is Beth. Beth, this is Ink. The rest is up to you. Fuck me. With that, Mel turns and strides off, heading toward her husband as though she can't bear being parted with him for long, leaving me with her friend. Beth glances after Mel in surprise at having been so abruptly abandoned, and while she'd looked confident walking over, now she shifts awkwardly, balancing her weight first on one foot and then the other, sending sly appraising glances my way through her eyelashes. Lizard had been right. She's a good-looking bitch. A bit younger than Mel, mid to late 20s would be my guess. The startling color of her hair is so vivid, it suggests she's only just dyed it. It hangs down past her shoulders in waves and perfectly matches the color of her eyes. Her skin is fair, as is most of ours. After all, it's winter. Her midnight blue dress hugs her figure, showing she's slender, not much to offer in the tits department, but with a shapely ass. Intriguingly, she's looking me straight in the face. Bitches normally have to crane their necks to look up at me. Interesting as she is, I don't do citizens. The silence stretches out. Liz and Mace have started a discussion about the new model Harley is bringing out, and while I'm eager to join in and offer my opinion, I'd be rude to ignore Mel's friend. But I don't have anything to say to her, and any small talk would have to involve bikes or sport. In the end, it's her who breaks the silence. Why ink? Her hand indicates my skin left bare as nature intended. Knowing exactly what she's asking, it's not the first time the question has been posed. A shrug. I don't like needles. No fucking way am I getting a tattoo. Fucking pussy, Liz overhears and mutters out of the side of his mouth. Reaching around Mace, I clip Lizard's ear. Our interaction makes Beth give a nervous laugh before saying, I don't have any either. I don't give a fuck one way or other. Caught by movement out of the corner of my eye, my gaze shifts behind her. It's Tulia, and she's gesturing at me. I give her a nod, and Beth turns to see what I'm looking at. Her face falls when she sees it's another girl. Her expression suggests she already knows about the club whores and interprets my nonverbal communication with Tulia correctly. I know I'm being a bastard, and with a club girl hovering in the background, feel strangely compelled to offer an explanation. Look, Beth, I'm not in the market for a civilian. As her head tilts in confusion, I try again. You're obviously a nice girl, Beth. I'm a biker. I stick with my own kind, if you get my drift. Another glance behind her shows Tully has now been joined by Breezy. Judge is openly fondling Breezy's tits as he pulls her back against him, and from the movement of his hips and the dilation of her eyes, it's not hard to guess he's rubbing his cock against her. Beth swallows hard, then offers, I could walk on the wild side. Nah, sorry, darling, but I'm not interested. I'm direct and to the point. Nothing to gain by leading her on and trying to let her down gently. You want biker cock, sweetheart? I'll give it to you. Mace is equally candid. She gasps at his bluntness. Her shocked reaction shows that my gut feeling is right. Beth wants some of what Mel's got. A ring on her finger, not a quick roll in the hay. Weddings. The worst possible place to hook up. Girls get stars in their eyes and start dreaming of happy out forever. The bride's joy in her new status is infectious. If I was ever going to pick up a civilian, a place where a husband and wife have just spoken vows is the very last location I choose. Belatedly, I realize Beth is trying to find a suitable response to Mace. I help her out, chuckling. Just tell him to get lost, babe. But she doesn't. Instead, she pushes past me and puts a hand on the enforcer's arm. You offering? She asks, her voice having taken on a huskiness that goes straight to my cock. I don't know the reason, but all of a sudden my jaw tightens. If anyone's cock is going to see some action with that, it's going to be mine. Hastily I revise my opinion of her. Perhaps she's not such a nice girl as I first thought. Maybe she does know the score and is willing to bed a man with no promise of anything more. There's not, I tell her sharply, lifting the hand that she placed on Mace's arm and tightening my fingers around hers. Giving a head shake of warning to my companions, I pull her away from the bar to a corner where we won't be overheard. Purposefully, I back her up until her spine is against the wall and there's nowhere for her to go. I crowd her, my body right up in her personal space, and brace one hand against the fancy brickwork. The other I use to tilt her chin toward me. With her height, she's looking me straight in the eyes. One offer, one chance to turn it down. You say yes, little girl, and you're going to get what you think you're after, biker cock. But there's not going to be any happily ever after. You got it? Okay? Yeah, you're a good-looking bitch, and I don't have to shift my hips much to rub my rock-hard cock against her. I'm in the mood to fuck. That's all I'm offering. I'd called her little. She's anything but that. Slender, but so tall, I'm already wondering if she's going to feel different than girls I've had in the past. The novelty of her parts fitting exactly against mine makes me hope she'll say yes. I'm all up for variety, and Beth would make a great notch on my bedpost. Her eyes flare. With interest? Anger? Disgust? But it seems it's the former when she places her hand against my chest. One night, but not one fuck. Unless it's her turn to break off and give an impudent grin. You can only get it out once. She's doubting the fucking beast here. Only once? I'll fuck you so many times your cunt will be sore and you won't be able to walk straight for days. Yeah? Her eyes dilate. Well, I'll want it so much your dick might fall off. I bark a strangled laugh at the way she's trying to come back to me with dirty talk that sounds alien coming out of her pretty civilian mouth. A doubt remains in my head. Whether or not you can break my dick, this is just one night, little girl. When you leave my bed, you won't be coming back. Fucking is all I'm offering. Okay? I don't do sweet talk. I won't be murmuring sweet little nothings into your ear. My cock, your cunt. That's all I want. I'm describing an interaction with a whore, but I need her to know what she's getting into. Don't want her feeling hurt and used afterward. She's got to understand the little she's going to get. The sounds of the wedding are continuing all around us. People's laughter and upbeat conversations can be heard even over the music, which is playing loudly, but we seem to be in an oasis apart from everything else. I give her one last chance. If you've got any ideas in your head about trying to change my mind, you can drop them now. Never had a cunt that tempted me back for more. She's the one now thrusting her hips against me, her bravado causing my cock to swell further. What makes you think your dick is so good I'll want a second time? Oh, she will. She'll be begging me for it, but I've told her the score. You sure? One final check. This is for tonight only. A little nod. Words, babe. I'm sure. Just one night. I give her one more moment, then push myself upright. Taking a firm hold of her hand, I stride across the ballroom and out the door, fleetingly observing that she doesn't need to run to keep up. As I pass by the windows, I see snow falling outside, and I'm fucking glad we've all got rooms in this swanky hotel tonight. Satan's devils are perhaps not the clientele they usually have staying, but hell, I've drunk too much to ride. Not that I'd even ride sober with the amount of white shit I can see on the ground. It also means we don't have far to go and the elevator only has to rise a couple of floors. Long enough for me to turn her back to my front, and I cover those small tits with my hands. They might not be large, but as I slide my fingers underneath that plunging neckline of her dress and tweak her nipples, I can immediately tell they're sensitive, if her gasp and the way her ass drives into my cock is any indication. Tits. What can I say? I like them. Bigger is best, but hey, any port in a storm and I'll be able to make this work. A ding and a mechanical door opening announcement, and we've arrived at my floor. I pull up her dress so she's decent again, then taking her by the arm, drag her out of the elevator and along to the correct door. Having presented the key guard, I give her access to my room. Impersonal, of course. I won't be able to be too inventive. If I were back at the compound, I'd have far more options. But hey, never let it be said I'm at loss for ideas. If she wants biker cock, she'll get it. Just this once. I was honest when I warned her. Where civilians are concerned, I never do them twice. Close off, babe, I instruct as I turn to close the door, hanging the do not disturb sign outside. No kiss? I don't even reply. I'm not going to bother to go through some slow seduction routine. She told me she was sure, and I told her my cock was the only thing on offer. For as long as I can remember, I've only been with the whores or women who know the score. If she wants more, well, she knows where to find the door. I turn away again, wondering whether she's going to run. Instead, from behind me, I hear the rustling of the satin of that bridesmaid dress, which indicates she is obeying. Taking off my coat, I reverently place it over the back of the chair, then unbutton the dress shirt I'd worn in deference to the occasion. My top half bare, I place one foot on the same chair that's holding my leather, undo one boot, and remove my sock, then I do the same to the other. Finally, I undo my pants and pushing them down over my hips, take them off. My cock's already standing at attention as I turn, pleased to find Beth has done exactly as I asked and is laying naked on the bed, her head propped on the pillows, her feet stretched right out, almost touching the end. One arm lies across her breasts. Her body is slightly twisted, weight on one hip, and her legs pressed tightly together so her sex is hidden to my eyes.